Hello, welcome to Capital Region Watch. This is our second show. My name is Jack Etkin. I'm the usual host of this show. My guest and we're going to be talking mainly about local issues. My guest in this segment is Deborah Dickson. We're going to start off talking about the Commonwealth Nature Legacy, which I didn't know anything about. Deborah, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in this issue and the other issues we're going to be talking about?
Thanks, Jack. Yes, the Heritage of Green Space is the name of the document, and it's called a Commonwealth Nature Legacy. So much like the athletes had funds set up and a legacy left for them to carry on after the Commonwealth Games, it was decided that nature needed to be addressed. And so this legacy comes as, is the outcome of the people involved at provincial level, municipal level, different groups, interest groups, coming together and talking about something on behalf of the natural environment.
So some money, I guess, and et cetera, was put in from the Commonwealth Games.
Yes, actually a lot of money was taken and put into the Games. And the University of Victoria was gifted land as a result of the Commonwealth Games as well. And I think that has kind of disappeared into history, much like this document would have if somebody hadn't retrieved it from a garbage can in the Parliament buildings. And so it really put a different light on how important the natural environment was. It was important to have a document separate from the athletes to represent the natural environment on not just this area, but Vancouver Island. So when it comes to money, the municipality of Saanich, in working together on conservation, the province worked in partnership with Saanich to secure agreements to purchase and protect a $4 million portion of privately owned waterfront at Glencoe. The municipality of Saanich is contributing $750,000 towards the purchase of the private property, as well as transferring $1.25 million to the Haro Woods property for protection as part of the Commonwealth Nature Legacy. So Saanich received an interest-free loan to purchase then Panama Hill property from the province, and Glencoe Cove and Panama Hills would be dedicated as Saanich municipal parks for the use and enjoyment of the public and protection. So the legacy really outlined the value of nature. And given that we have some of the most unique and rare environment in Canada, in our country, that people come from all over the world to see and experience, this Commonwealth Nature Legacy grows new legs 30 years later.
Now, how does it grow new legs 30 years later?
Well,
which is where we're at now. It's 30 years after the Commonwealth
the
Games.
importance of green space and people realizing that's disappearing, and trying to figure out how we protect it for the future. Where this document, which was, written in partnership with the governments, MLAs, and interest groups that talked at that time with Saanich, whereas that doesn't happen much anymore because everything is so controlled. There's not that freedom to bring people together and to form something like this. So it really has, in my opinion, and the others that I've showed it to, it has a place in history. And given that it was for the generation in 1994 for protection, also covered the future. It wasn't just because the games are here, now the games are over, that's it.
Right.
It's not it. The legacy remains every time you go into Haro Woods, the portion that was gifted to the University of Victoria as part of the Games, and they accepted stewardship into perpetuity. So this little forest has gone through a lot of history for a lot of years. It has now become a park For a lot of years, people thought that Haro Woods was a park. And they were really shocked to learn in 2006 that it wasn't protected at all.
So in the end, Haro Woods was spared. The construction of the sewage treatment plant did not happen there. It happened in Esquimalt instead.
Yes, there was a land swap so that the CRD could get the center of the forest where the infrastructure that they needed for the new attenuation tank was there. So a land swap happened, and 6%, I think, of the forest is the attenuation tank. It has grown in nicely, and it is surrounded by park space now.
Okay, great.
And the community came together, and it was a very, very, very interesting time because people really had a chance to feel like they accomplished something. They got to meet their neighbors. They got to meet a whole lot of people that they would never have met before that.
Yeah.
So it was, in the end, a way of building community. So then the park was officially a P4, natural woodland park, so no development. And this is where it gets a little dicey. UVic owns a portion and is steward of a portion of Haro Woods. I'm not sure of the future of that portion of Haro Woods, given the new legislature that was passed for protecting land, protecting nature, which we've seen disappearing at an alarming rate, given how important the canopy is and how much of a success story it was back in 2010. So it was the sewage treatment project that brought me into the picture in 2004. I've been involved as a resident since then, and today I do walks through Haro Woods once a month for everyone to see what was accomplished.
Good, good. Yeah, it's important for people to know the history of the city that never gets talked about.
Yes,
Yeah, the real
and more
history of the
eyes
city.
on the forest, and to know how
Yes.
safe it is now with the trails, the signs. It's connected to both transit on Arbutus and Finnerty.
Yes.
And again, this is where it gets difficult. Finnerty Road used to be quiet. It had a lot of bikes. It had a lot of students walking on it. It had Gary Oaks on it. Now there are still students and still bikes, but no Gary Oaks.
What happened to the trees?
They were taken down to accommodate the, at that time, all ages, all abilities cycle plan that UVic came up with in 2003. So as recent as 4 or 5 years ago, they have not really walked their talk when it comes to protecting the environment. The active transportation plan is a result of the university's first cycling plan. So now we have infrastructure for bikes, infrastructure for cars, and a sidewalk that rarely gets used, and there's no Gary Oaks along there. So the active transportation plan sounds like a really great thing.
Certainly does.
It promotes the right
It's active.
activities, getting around to see community, but it seems like it's gone over into a place where there's going to be more destruction of green space due to the transit-oriented hubs and the transit-oriented areas that the University of Victoria is part of. So all along the areas that we've worked so hard to protect for all these years, everything is off the board now. The active transportation plan hit the residents and homeowners on Mann Avenue.
Okay, so where Mann Avenue is in central Saanich?
It's off of North Saanich, West Saanich Road, I believe.
Okay. So we're in a different area.
Yes.
We're moving in, okay. And I mean, I just took a look on a map. Mann Avenue Right, because you mentioned you wanted to talk about Mann Avenue as part of an active transportation plan. Mann Avenue looks like a very, very, very quiet street. It's not even a through street. It's in farmland mostly. So what's happening on that in that area, and how does that tie into everybody else?
Well, the active transportation plan was put through in 2018.
And this is an active transportation plan for
Saanich.
Saanich, okay.
Yes, it was approved. And so that was in 2018. So in 2019, we started to have people getting sick. In 2020, we were shut down for pandemic. So people weren't going to council meetings. They weren't in chambers. They weren't paying attention
That's very true.
to local issues as they were before COVID hit. COVID was about keeping the family safe, who was going to be working, who had to give up a job, how it was all going to work together. So when the Mann Avenue people were notified of the construction and the road work that was coming through in front of their homes, they had no idea of the 2018 plan that was passed. They had not a clue.
And why, I mean, really, I looked at Mann Avenue, it's just out. Why is there something happening on Mann Avenue? What is it?
Well, that's a good question. After reading,
it's a very quiet, kind of very suburban, dead-end residential street.
Yeah. Well, that's the focus of the active transportation. On page 39 of the active transportation report, plan report, that's where it states where the focus is going to be on quiet streets.
And what are they doing on Mann Avenue, for example?
On Mann Avenue, they put in the bike lanes.
Okay.
They made it impossible for people to carry on their livelihoods in their homes by celebrating family birthdays or people coming together for Christmas or people having their businesses in their homes. It completely eradicated all of those things that you would think would be normal to a neighborhood who they know their neighbors, they're a tight community. As you said, it's a dead-end street, but it was quiet. And when you read through the report, that is the focus.
So what are they doing to, is Mann Avenue being pushed through to another road? I mean, because who'd be riding a bike on Mann Avenue?
Exactly. There were people who went out and watched for cyclists. There are none. This was kind of their first plan, their first attempt at putting the plan out there to see what would happen.
So what are they going to do on Mann Avenue? Put cycling?
They already have the cycling lanes in.
Okay.
They have everything set up, which is great if it's used in that way, but it never was used in that area like that. Much like Haro Road, that is another quiet street. It is going to be changed, I'm fairly certain, by an accelerated active transportation plan because it connects the university campus up on Sinclair to their new Queenswood campus on Arbutus Road. So that's one of the reasons it's getting priority. But the thing is, if this is the case, then why is the municipality, why are we paying for upgrades to infrastructure for the University of Victoria, for the province? Why is that all being shifted onto residents to pay for? It's going to be very disruptive in that it's going to allow traffic through there in front of Frank Hobbs School, in front of the Arbutus Grove Daycare Center, because people can't walk down a hill. People don't cycle up the hill because it's a sharp incline.
You're talking about Sinclair going down to the water.
From Haro Road, from Sinclair down to the water, yes.
Yes, that is quite a walk or quite a bike ride for sure.
Yeah. And the plan is all about connecting the infrastructure to come through quiet areas, and people can't figure out why. And the people that it happened to can't figure out why.
So on Mann Avenue, you said, for example, I think that people can't have birthday parties anymore.
Well, there's no parking.
Oh, so
there's no parking at all in front of their homes. If they want to have parking, they have to spend $20,000 to put in a driveway. That's their only option if they want parking.
Right.
The only
I read
parking
something
that
about that in the paper
would be
months ago.
is parking at the other end of Mann Avenue, but that's all now residential only parking too. So people who live on Mann park in the area at the bottom of the 2 blocks where the bus goes. They're creating a lot of conflict with the other neighbors that had their parking taken away too. So the conflict that this active transportation plan is creating, and the uncertainty, we have a mayor that promotes well-being. And at the council meeting last week, I asked how creating fear and uncertainty and anxiety is part of an element of well-being. Citizens are very afraid. That you hear them use, oh, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. Seniors are afraid. There's nothing set up for seniors once they have a developer pounding on their door saying, we want your land, here, we'll give you the money. They don't have anyone. Where are they going to go? There's no place for seniors to go on the island. There's very, very few places.
So now we're moving more away from an active transportation plan into more development plans.
Absolutely.
And is that happening as well as something?
Yes, and that ties into the transit-orient areas and the transit-orient plans for their hubs. So the hubs will also see homes disappear because they're within 400-meter radius, and there's nothing stopping it because it's provincial mandated. So the active transportation plan and the transit-oriented hubs are tied together.
So a transit-oriented hub, let's say there could be one, Nancy mentioned earlier, there could be one, for example, at Quadra, Mckenzie.
Yes, the University of Victoria is a transit hub. They added more bus lanes on. They expanded their parking lot to accommodate more buses on the campus that are out of service, again, taking out Gary Oak trees to facilitate this.
And so where there is a transit hub now, then within a 400-meter radius, which is 400 meters in one direction, 400 meters in another direction, that entire circle, that's 800 meters. What happens? There is...
All the trees come down,
and
all the single-family homes disappear, and it all becomes high-rises. Saanich spent $60,000 on a housing study when Quadra Bay was going through their local area plan review.
Okay, Quadra Bay, right.
Quadra Bay. We started our plan, then COVID hit, then we finished our plan in 2021. Now that the active transportation plan is flying through on our money, we have no way of protecting Haro Woods. And because the portion of property that UVic owns is over an acre, that means that whole portion of forest could be chopped down for development, regardless of stewardship. The rules of the game have changed. There's no legislation to protect any of that anymore. And this Commonwealth Nature Legacy that outlines specifically areas that are to be protected, there's no protection for that now. So
it looks like, I mean, Victoria is, consistently ranked as one of the great cities of the world, great city to live in. It sounds like what's happening is the provincial government is turning it over to the developers and saying, here, you've got a city that everybody wants to live in, build 20-story buildings everywhere, and essentially, to a large extent, really change the city. Yeah. And make lots of money at the price of the people who already live here, and it's win-win for the developers and the big landowners and the builders
and the province.
Currently,
there is another development project at the corner of Gordon Head and Mckenzie on university land that can see up to 18-story buildings put in there as well, facing Gordon Head.
Gordon Head and Mckenzie.
Gordon Head and
that's
Mckenzie.
A very residential area right now.
Yes,
there's no 18-story buildings anywhere around there.
Much like Quadra Mckenzie plan, This is another plan that hasn't hit the headlines, and it won't because it's provincial. And the public can't have a say in anything that's provincial. The university will go ahead. They have the backing of the province. They're an arm of the province. And they'll build whatever they want. If the geotechnical reports come back that they can, much like the library that's going up on Mckenzie, the geotech reports, I don't know if it will accommodate 12 stories, but that's not what everybody heard about. That's not what everybody saw.
You mean the little library that used to be on Mckenzie is going to be a...
Yes.
That was on Mckenzie, just a block over from Shelburne.
Cedar Hill.
Cedar Hill,
Yeah.
right.
And
12-story building. Well, but we need housing, right?
We do.
So what is, I mean, I've got my own ideas, but what, from your perspective, is a solution?
Well, gentle development. I think that's a really good gentle density, which is what a lot of communities can agree upon. It's something that was really reinforced at the Quadra Bay Local Area Plan. Given that Quadra Bay is in a subduction zone and very susceptible to any kind of earthquake and tidal waves, it didn't seem the right place to be putting 12-story buildings or 6-story buildings. 4 stories is what we had agreed on. And because developers can't make money per door, is how things are priced out, we don't know what we'll get in the village now. Because our local area plans are nothing but a report. If our local area plans would not have been decoupled from the official community plan, the public would still have a voice. We wouldn't have spent all the thousands of dollars we have on workshops, on pop-up meetings, on Saanich Council.
And this is coming from the EB government, right? They've taken over and said to the cities, all cities in BC, you no longer have any control over development in your towns and cities.
So what does it make about our elected officials? Why are we having elected officials when they can't do anything but pass bylaws and provide services and collect our taxes? Why do we spend money on elections then if the province is overriding everybody?
Yeah, big changes happening. I mean, I don't know what the solutions are, but we will in the future bring people on who can provide us with solutions, I hope. Because turning our cities over to the developers is great for the developers. Lots of money is being made out of this city. But for the people who live here and for the people who want to live here, it's not exactly the best direction. Deborah, I think we're almost out of time. Thank you very much, and we'll definitely follow up on these things.
Okay, thank you so much, Jack.